Welcome back, guys. So today we're going to shed some positive light on the WWE PG era. So this is not necessarily my personal opinion. This is just the guys that I think are the best and that pretty much carried the PG era. Now, when was the PG era? From about 2008 to, it's disputable, but people are saying roughly, it ended in roughly 2021, give or take, and then it became the current or reality or Triple H or whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to call this current era. So let's get into the top 10 guys from the PG era. At number 10 is The Miz. Now, why is he on this list? Because The Miz at one point carried Monday Night Raw. And this was during the PG era when he had the Intercontinental Championship. And he actually made it quite relevant again. He carried this championship and he carried Raw, doing a half an hour segment in the beginning of every single Raw. Now, was it always entertaining? Not necessarily, but you could depend on The Miz for a passable match at every single pay-per-view. Number 9 is Sheamus. So Sheamus, he started during the Ruthless Aggression era, but he actually really found his feet in the attitude. He really found his feet in the PG era, of course winning his WWE championships and just becoming a solid, dependable in-ring worker. Obviously hard-hitting, one of the hardest guys in professional wrestling, but whenever you needed a guy to feud against your main babyface champion and you're nobody, just slot in Sheamus and you know it's going to be a good match. Number 8 is Dolph Ziggler. Now, Dolph Ziggler, so recently I responded to a hot take. I don't know if that video's come out yet, where Dolph Ziggler deserved more. I do agree, but also he got a lot. He didn't deserve anything more. He earned everything more. Apart from that, the reason why he didn't get much more is simply because he made every single other person look better than himself. He made everybody's offense look like $1,000,000. And what did he get for that? It should have been me. Now, I think Dolph Ziggler is one of the undisputed GOATs of the WWE PG era because, again, you can slot him against anybody and you know you're going to get a good match. His feud with The Miz is one of the best feuds of the PG era, in my opinion, of course. Number 7 is Jeff Hardy. He's in my top 4 of all time. Now, Jeff Hardy, during this time, he had a lot of personal struggles, but he still performed. And this was just before the PG era, but his match against Undertaker, that ladder match, just absolutely unforgettable. His feud against CM Punk, who we might maybe speak about a little bit later, is just one of the best feuds ever. The loser leaves town match, that was just when Punk came out with the Jeff Hardy face paint on. Now I'm speaking about Punk as well, but it's because in the PG era, Punk and Jeff Hardy, their careers went a very, very parallel route, and Jeff Hardy is just one of the GOATs. Number 6, we may have just spoken about him. It is CM Punk. Now, did WWE do right by him with the Summer of Punk? No. If you want to watch the actual Summer of Punk, go and watch Ring of Honor. But my videos are based on WWE, people. But still, his matches against John Cena at Money in the Bank 2011, his matches against Chris Jericho, his matches against Jeff Hardy. You just know whenever you had Punk, I mean, he took the ECW brand and he took it to a level where it should never have been allowed to go. So Punk is just one of the greatest of all time. Number 5 is one of the most tenured WWE superstars ever. It is Rey Mysterio. Now, what can you expect from Rey Mysterio? You can expect a solid match every single night. I mean, the guys, I think in the comment section, let me know. I don't have Google right in front of me, but I believe he's 50 already, if he's maybe not in his 50s. And he still moves around like he's a guy in his mid-20s. Now, I'm talking about PG era. This was arguably his Ruthless Aggression, and PG was arguably his WWE peak. His matches was absolutely incredible. You could again depend on him to just have a good match with anybody you put him in the ring with. Number 4 is Daniel Bryan. Now, Daniel Bryan is this high on the list simply because he was not supposed to be the guy. But just purely out of fan support, Daniel Bryan became the guy. The Occupy Raw segment, the being kicked out of Nexus and coming back to a massive pop. Just Michael Cole continuously belittling him on commentary and him just overcoming all of that to still become, I mean, he's literally called the GOAT. He's just absolutely great. Number 3 is Randy Orton. Now, during the Ruthless Aggression era, he had his whole legend killer gimmick. Then he absolutely ascended in the PG era. He absolutely ascended to the main event tier. Now, he's always, since 2004, he's always been a main event player, but he absolutely reached his peak. I mean, 2009 Orton is arguably the most diabolical heel to ever exist. And that was PG era. That was the height of the PG era. Everything he did. Now, some people would say his matches are methodical, which is code for slow, but his matches are always good. You will never get a bad match out of him. It will always just be an absolute solid match. Number 2 is Randy Orton's partner in crime. It's Edge. The rated R superstar. When he broke free from Christian, they both kind of got pushed, but in WWE. So WWE made the Brood to get Edge over. The Brood was specifically designed for Edge. Now, what Edge did with that was he catapulted himself to absolute stratosphere. Now, he had his whole thing with Lita. It was questionable if they should have had that thing on the show and all of that, but still, his matches with Randy Orton, his matches with a guy we might speak about at number 1, it's just always good. And he was just so despicable, but then again, that was his job, so he did a good job. And number 1, most of you probably already knew this, it's gonna be John Cena. Now, John Cena, obviously, he was famous for his whole ruthless aggression against Kurt Angle, but during the PG era, he really found his feet, and I'm talking about where he became the absolute GOAT of the main event. Now, during the ruthless aggression, he had his rapper gimmick, which I'm still very fond of, but during the PG era, he had a very specific run, and that was the United States Open Challenge, where guys like Kevin Owens, Neville, Sammy, all those guys had matches against him, and they elevated him, he elevated them, and of course, he just absolutely elevated the United States Championship. So let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with my list? Do you disagree? That's what the comment section is for. Until next time, peace.